Here we go.
Now, I'm someone that absolutely adores the first Inside Out. Like a lot of Pixar movies, I hold it in a very high regard. I think that it's one of the greatest animated movies, not just of the past couple of years, but of all time. It's one of my personal favorites. Its ability to tackle truly complex ideas in a manner that appeals to both children and adults, it's unmatched. So I was inherently going to be excited for a follow-up to that movie. You do have a different director now, new voice cast members added, some removed. Maybe I went in a little bit too excited because I do feel a bit disappointed. A lot of this felt like a straight-to-streaming movie from Pixar. I'm disappointed to say that, but I'll get more into my thoughts in a second. But before we do, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below your thoughts or expectations for Inside Out 2. I talked about things that were removed and added to the movie. One of the things that was removed was Michael Giacchino. Giacchino, who scored the previous film, that's some of the best music that has been put in any film. It's not hyperbole for me to say that I truly believe that there's so much greatness involved with that first movie. The magical music that he composed, you really felt like it had an impact on the story. He did not return for this film, probably due to scheduling conflicts. Anyone that has to follow in his footsteps, it's no easy task. I don't think the score is bad here. It's not terrible. I think it's well done enough, but when you go off of that just classic music composed for the first one to now this, you do feel that downgrade. It just felt lackluster. They use that original theme from the first movie a little bit, but you obviously don't want just a repeat of that. You have to have some new stuff in it, and I just felt like it failed to capture the magic. And in terms of capturing the magic, what I think this movie struggles to do was that it just struggled to feel creative, unique. I think that the first movie did a really good job setting the groundwork, and you can only go up from there, right? But most of the story beats felt predictable here. At times it felt like it was checking off the boxes, doing what it felt like it had to do, and it wasn't really moving me by any means. And speaking of moving me, I don't think, unfortunately, this movie has an emotional gut punch to the level of Bing Bong. Again, it's hard to recapture something like that, but I don't think that this movie has the emotional impact. I wasn't finding myself being so swept up in it that I was getting teary-eyed. There's a little bit there, and maybe it'll impact you more than me. I think that there's a chance there. There's a little bit to offer, but just not as much as Bing Bong. The number one thing that I want to reiterate is that I appreciate this movie, what it has to offer in terms of adding new emotions as Riley is growing up. She's going through puberty. You have anxiety, ennui, envy, embarrassment, all that stuff added to the mix. And I felt that the emotions, definitely they were accurate in their portrayals. The added voice cast, especially edebiri, I thought was great. Although I still can't get over Tony Hale, who is now Fear, no longer Bill Hader. Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling did not return for the film. As well as Liza Lapera. Hale and Lapera, they play Fear and Disgust respectively. And they just really struggled to capture what Kaling and Hader had in the first movie. Hader has such great comedic timing, and when I rewatched the first movie, I was just reminded of how spectacular he is. Similar to my issues with the score, it's one of those things that it's hard to recapture what was done before you, so they did have a hard task in front of them. But I still have to mention the fact that it wasn't as good. Something that was improved, though, was the animation. It's obviously been nearly 10 years, and Pixar has had a lot of new movies come out. More technology has been created, more stuff added to their animation department, so it's going to look better, and it does. It's just visually stunning. What stood out to me in particular were the shadows now utilized. That was really cool. It's something that's so small, but you pick up more on it looking at the little finer details. But number one, my big kind of thought surrounding the story was that it just felt something that you would find on a streaming service. At times it felt like a cover band attempting to dip their toes in the water of tackling emotions like the first movie. It's funny because you have the same writing team involved as the first film, so as to really what happened there, I can't quite pinpoint. Pete Docter isn't in the director's chair. He is now the creative head at Pixar. He is basically the big boss at Pixar. It could be due to his absence, but specifically, this just felt awfully digestible, not as complex. Just in my opinion, I know that from the looks of it, it sounds like I'm in the minority so far on this one. It's decent. I didn't hate it, but it's just not as great as I feel like it should be. The third act and finale were pretty strong, and that's what did turn it around a little bit for me. How they visually showcased anxiety and a panic attack, for example, in the third act, I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, you can do a lot more with an animation that you might be able to do with live action, so I definitely feel like they utilized that. But as I was watching the first 2 acts of the movie, it just felt like a significant downgrade. Like I mentioned, it does manage to bring it home strong. I think that it ends in a good way. But up until that point, it just felt like there was a lot of disappointment for me. Not as funny, not as clever, and especially on an emotional level, on a deeper level, I wasn't as won over, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to give Inside Out 2 a B-, and I would recommend waiting just to stream this one. It just gets bumped over to that positive level in my kind of grading scale. I think this is a movie that does warrant a rewatch for me, just to really solidify my thoughts on it. Maybe I was just not in the right mood today. But definitely let me know in the comments, what did you think of the movie? Did you enjoy it more than I did? Are you feeling the same as me? Let me know. I want to thank you so much for watching this review. And again, if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. And as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.